Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Migrant Collective Stories. I am with Paulina Ramirez. She's from Chile, from Calama. So it's a long way to arrive here. Paulina, she's a scientist and she has her own brand. She's a business owner. Girl power. Hey, how are you? And thanks for being here.
Thanks, Nina, for inviting me to speak today.
Yeah, we want to know more about your story. How did you get to Australia?
So, I study biochemistry in Chile, and I decided to do a PhD. So I applied to this Chilean scholarship program called Becas Chile, and I got a scholarship. So I came to Melbourne to study my PhD in pharmacology at Monash University.
Oh my God, what happened after that?
So, well, it took me a while to finish my PhD. So I finished my PhD in 2019, and I got a job in the university as well. So now I'm doing a postdoc there. So it's called postdoctoral researcher at the moment. So I've been there for almost 2 years.
Oh wow. So this is your only job experience in Australia, in Melbourne?
Yeah, it's actually my own. Yeah, it's my only. It's actually like my first job because I only got when I finished my undergraduate. I had to apply for the scholarship and to the PhD program in Australia. So I had 10 months in between. So I work as a research assistant in the University of Santiago of Chile, and that's it. So it was pretty short experience. So I've been basically studying 14 years, and this at 30 years old, I got my first official job basically.
Oh my God! And can we know more about it? Because I don't know how is the scientist work. I mean, are you all of you like in using this white?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we do. We use all that, so it's compulsory. Australia is pretty good with safety, so we have to use our all protective equipment. So the glasses, the funny glasses, the gloves. You know, my how do you say it? My bata blanca.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yep,
Yeah,
that's me all day.
like all the overall.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hey, what do you work with? What is your study about
So I
in your work?
work in pain. So I study mechanisms that regulate chronic pain. So I study what causes chronic pain, and then I develop drugs or smart drugs to alleviate that pain.
Oh my God, this sounds so technical and difficult. Can we know how is your job in the laboratory or in this professional area? How is your team?
Like my day-to-day job, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, how is the teamwork, for example?
So in every research group, you will have a PI, so the director of your research, and then underneath him, you will have postdocs. You will have postdoctoral research fellows like me. So those are the people that are a bit more experienced, that already finished their PhD and have more experience. And then after that, you will have PhD students. Below that, you will have honor students, and then below that, you can have internships on small things like that. So so basically, all the research is reported to the director, and every postdoctoral fellow will have in charge PhD students or honor students to go to investigate a particular question. And yeah, so if you have more postdoctoral investigators, then you can have more like study more questions.
And how is the environment? the working environment. Do you feel like part of your group, of your team?
Well, science
Uh-huh.
is quite competitive because
Okay.
you need to publish your work in journals, in scientific journals, and to be able to publish that work, you will need to do a lot of experiments in the lab. So the more you publish, the more chances you have to get your own funding, your research funding. But when you are applying for funding, you are applying at the same time that someone in your lab is applying. So basically, that person is competence for you. Yeah, you're competing against that person as well. So basically, it's a bit lonely, I will say, research, because you have to put a lot of effort in it. But if you get, it will depend on your director basically. So they will create and dictate how the environment will be. You can create a more collaborative environment, or you can create something more competitive, up to the boss basically.
And can we know more about the project that makes you a little bit famous? Because you publish in Nature your research.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Don't be
publish in
scared.
I publish in I published my PhD thesis in Nature Nanotechnology, yeah, in 2019, just when I finished. So it took me all my PhD 3 years and a half to complete that investigation, and what my work was is just to design a smart pill basically, that can only release analgesic in a particular side of your cells, because pain receptors live inside the cells. So regular drugs are not able to reach the inside of the cells, or not much of the drug is able to reach that part. So that's why the efficacy of some drugs are quite low. So with my pill, what we can do is we can bring, or it's possible to that the drug enter the cell and reach that location specifically that transmit pain. So it was a quite big discovery kind of thing, because we're saying, okay, this receptor signal from inside the cell, and then we just came up with a clever way to kind of shut down that signal.
Wow, this sounds super difficult. And I want to know how have been your experience living in Australia in general?
I like Australia. I like the culture in general. I think they are quite respectful with the environment. They have a big conscience related to environment in general. Recycling is big, well, bigger than my country, and so I feel that the level of consciousness is quite high. But I also think it's really hard to connect with Australians. So you can have, I've been 6 years here already, so I can have the same conversation like, hi, how are you? Good, and you? Yeah, good. Next day, hi, how are you? That's it. So it's quite hard to get to establish a deeper relationship somehow. For me, before I was like, how are you? And after 2 hours, you were talking about your whole family, your grandma, everything. You could even cry in the middle. But here is quite hard to reach that level. So I will say it's a bit lonely in that regard. I don't completely understand the culture, but yeah. Beside that, I think I really like it.
Yeah, and well, in these 5 years, in all these no, how long have you been living
Almost
here?
6. Yeah.
Almost six. In all this time, I hear something marvelous, and you develop your own brand.
Yep.
Can you tell us how did you arrive there?
So, well, so I have my own brand of hair products. So specifically, conditioners and hair creams. And it all started because I'm curly, my hair is complicated, I have to spend a lot of money on it, and
Can I do
of course you can. And when I came to Australia, I realized that hair products are really expensive. And I couldn't believe the prices. I bought my products, all the ones that I thought they were good, and they were good, but not as good as for the price they were, right? So I always wanted to, even before moving to Australia and doing and studying my PhD in pain, in the area of pain, I always liked the cosmetic industry, like the beauty section, but I didn't want it to go into that area because I thought it was too shallow, too superficial. I wanted to make more impact, you know. And that's how I turned out to be like working pain. But then after a while, I realized that there's no such thing as creating. Not because I'm doing science, I can make more impact. I think that we can create impact in different ways, and by just creating a hair product that makes your hair look beautiful, for example, I will create an impact in you. You'll be happier, you'll be more confident when you go out and you have beautiful hair. So I do realize that impact is something that you can measure in different ways. Yeah, so I think I was just measuring it in the wrong way. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And can you show us, because you brought some products and you have a different kind of like super specific product for different kind of hair.
Yeah, I can show you. So my idea started. My initial question was, why if I go to the pharmacy or to the supermarket and if I buy a conditioner there, why it doesn't work for my hair, but for someone, I don't know, maybe like your hair, maybe a product bought in the supermarket is okay. So why not me? What is different? What's the difference? And then I started to do some more research on the hair, like what are the characteristics of the hair that make it that tells you or dictate how good is a product or what do you need. So after doing a lot of research, then I classified hair. It's not like I invented the classification. I just use the classification of, for example, the hair type, which is curly, straight, wavy, or coily, or the texture, if it's fine, medium, or coarse, or the porosity, how much moisture it can retain. Based on all that, I created 5 types of conditioners. So for example, I can show you this one. So this one, I named them T0, 1, 2, 3, 4, out of lack of creativity, like type 0, type 1, type 2. Yeah. So for example, this one
in the very scientific way.
So for example, this one, and my label is quite complex. So this one is called T0. It's for low porosity hair, and normally for straight hair, and the hydration level is 1 out of 5, because straight hair doesn't need much hydration. It actually tends to get oily because it doesn't absorb or retain moisture very well. But then we can increase it if we can go to T1. Is hair that requires a bit more hydration, that the porosity can change, and so on. And then we can get to the last level, which is the T4, for example. This one is designed for type 4 hair, which is coily hair, high porosity, that requires a lot of hydration. So this is 5 hydration 5 out of 5.
This is for extremely curly hair, like afro.
Like afro type of hair. For example, I use the T3 because it's for wavy hair, high porosity as well, but it's for hydration 4 out of 5.
Hey, it smells like ice cream.
And then I have
so good.
And hair creams as well, but those are for only wavies, curlies, and coilies. I don't have a hair cream for straight hair at the moment.
Wow, and hey guys, it's vegan, cruelty free, not tested in animals, free of parabens, sulfates, and silicones, and no mineral oils, petrochemicals, propylene, glycol, and no artificial fragrances and colors. And it smells like ice cream, and is free palm oil. Oh my god. And it has avocado oil. So yummy. It smells awesome. It smells awesome. I love it. I can't wait to try it. And you make everything. It's like the labels and the social media and the product.
I make everything, but at the moment, because I'm slowly growing, so at the moment I'm working with marketing company from Chile, like a quite small company. So they help me to improve my label, kind of organize it a little bit better. My previous logo, I can show you my previous logo. So my previous logo was, I designed it. So it was women with different hair types. So I really liked that, but then I realized that it was it was making my product only exclusive to women because you have a women on the logo. So I had to change that. So what we did is we just modified so we only have hair patterns in the logo, and you don't associate it with gender.
Yeah, and it's more inclusive.
Exactly.
Also.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I love it. And how do you? How I'm astonished. How do you balance your science life versus your entrepreneur life? Do you sleep?
I don't think I balance it that well. It's a work in progress. So because I started small, I could sell whatever I wanted to. If I don't have product, I don't. That's it. I could regulate that because there's no pressure from no one from a third person to produce more or less products. So I try. It actually helped me a little bit to recover some work-life balance from my science job. When I was working in the Nature Nano publication, I was working like crazy. I will say, from 8 9 a.m. until night, and I would work on the weekends as well. So I kind of completely lost any type of balance. And with Simply Do, I kind of regained that balance because I wanted to go home and I wanted to do something different. So it ended up helping me to just draw a line of how much science I have to do, how much is a healthy. Try to draw the line between how healthy science is and not. Yeah. So yeah, I spend most of my weekends doing Simply Do, and after hours, like after 6 7 p.m., I don't know, go to the gym, do some exercise, and try to, and then I work on this.
So basically, Simply Two is like your hobby.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like your escape way.
Yeah, because I started making products first out of. Because I wanted something for my hair that I knew what I wanted, I knew what I needed, but I couldn't find products that basically satisfied what I wanted. So I was like, well, I'm a scientist, I can do it myself. Why I don't make them? So that's what I did. Basically, I bought everything, all the raw ingredients, and I started making products for myself. So this wasn't intended as a business until I was maybe producing my products for 6 months or so, because I started making products for me, then for my friends, then from friends of my friends, and then I was like, oh, maybe I could sell them. And that's how it was born. But initially it didn't have any name. It was just my hair products.
Wow. Yeah, and when you started, did you thought like, oh, I'm going to create like a vegan product, free palm oil and cruelty free and no chemicals?
Not really, because it wasn't intended as something that I will sell. It was intended as something I wanted. So if you could, I basically I had all the freedom to say what do I want. So okay, I didn't want to, I don't know, use any bee derived product because bees are in danger at the moment, and many of the additives that come in conditioners come from bees. So I was like, I don't want anything associated with bees, but maybe I don't want anything associated with animals in general. So I started looking at the ingredients I could put in. So I just chose the ones that I thought they were appropriate, like sustainable and they didn't have any impact. And then at the end, like one day, one friend wanted to test them, and she asked me, "What are the ingredients?" So I started naming them, and it was, it's perfect because I'm a vegan. So your product is vegan, so I want to try it. And I was like, "Oh, that's right, my product is vegan because yeah." But I didn't do it consciously. Yeah, I just excluded everything that I didn't want it, and then at the end, when I excluded everything, then I started thinking, oh, what it doesn't have, and then I just wrote on the label, it doesn't have this, 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 because when I read a label, I don't want those things, so I read to make sure that they're not there. So I made it a little easier just by saying it doesn't have this, this, this.
Great. What may I ask? What is your dream with Simply Two as a business owner? If I can say like, dream girl, do you want to go bigger? Do you want do you dream to selling your formula to a big hair company? What is your dream with your business idea?
I think that I would like to grow, but I like the way I'm growing, like slowly grow, because I am learning as I grow, so I like that. But I would like to be able to make a bigger impact in society. So at the moment, I can only make impact by choosing ingredients that are beneficial. So that's one way to make impact. I make impact on my clients because it's really, I don't know, it's amazing just to see when someone has this struggling with their hair and then they have a beautiful hair. It feels so good because you help them. But I think I can do more. So at some point, when I have enough profits, I would like to somehow a portion of those profits dedicate them to scholarships, for example. That's something because I think that, well, I've been studying for 10 years, so I'm a strongly believer that education is one way to change the world. If you educate people, then you create more awareness. So I think that's one way I would like to contribute. So probably at the beginning, I'm gonna be able to give away one scholarship. But if Simply Two grows, I could do it more and more and more. Because it's not only about profits, it's also about just helping the wider community.
Yeah, and would you like to do some impact in our national country, for example? Do you have some projects there, or I mean, projects in the future because we are dreaming?
Well, eventually I would love to, for example, bring Simply Two to my home country, to Chile. And because I'm from Calama, and Calama is such a small, tiny town, I would love to, for example, create the headquarters of Simply Two in Calama. You know, because Calama is a mining city, so why not? Why can if you're telling me dream, well,
let's dream.
Why can we not identify people from Calama from something else? You know, so
because it's a mining area and it's very polluted also, and mining, well, everyone knows the impact of mining in all our landscape and in our communities also. What happened with the water and with the minerals and with the glaciers and with the rivers around. Yeah, I would love to see Simply Two like globally. Let's dream. And hey, I have another question before finish our interview. Living in Australia and thinking in your professional experience, working in the lab or in the scientist work, and also thinking in our friends or in the community that we have here in Melbourne. What do you think are the barriers that we face as migrants, skilled migrants? That what are the barriers that we face when we want to have another job or we want to improve our working situations? what do you think is the obstacles than we have? We want to try to find our pathway to our careers, for example.
I think that, but it's from my perspective, because
Yes.
yeah. So I think that the obstacles are many times ourselves and our fear, because we don't come from a society that raised us to believe that the sky is the limit, that you can go as high as you want. That's not what we grew up in. It's not like we grew up in this box, but we don't have that, I don't know, infinite world of possibilities built in our system. So we come here as migrants. We don't have, many of us maybe don't have the language, they have to learn it. So they are constantly reminded every day that, oh, you cannot even speak the language, how can you do something else? So those fears and insecurities start building up, I think. And then at the end you start working in something that, I don't know, you don't have to talk to many people, and then you work for 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and then time flies, and then you're like, oh, I want to go back to my profession, but you have a 2 years gap in your CV. So I think that's just because we don't believe in ourselves enough. So I think that empowerment is something really important here. Just believe in yourself, and the circle around you should help you to do that, to get the strength to say, I can do this.
Yeah, and thinking in this situation, what is your recommendation or your wishes for the skills migrants that are living in Melbourne and in Australia, or maybe around the world?
So I will say, just empower yourself, believe in yourself. You are as qualified as someone from Australia, from US, from New Zealand. Everyone is qualified. So you just have to believe in yourself and demonstrate it. That's it. But yeah, just believe in yourself, and there's nothing to be afraid of. The worst that can happen is that if you go to a job interview, they can say no. That's basically it. You can receive many no's, that's true, but at some point, statistically talking, at some point you will get a yes. You know, so basically just keep trying. Yeah, yes. I come from a small town, so I from a 200,000 population to Australia, so I think that if I can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah, and working in this super specific area that is investigation, and as a scientist, and doing your PhD and post PhD, postdoc. Wow, the possibilities are, wow, are, I don't know, the sky is the limit.
Yeah.
But we, as you said, I believe the thing that it's super hard for us see the reality like this. Like, you have so many options, just you have to choose and work in this direction. But in our culture is we're too quiet and too scared about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for all this wisdom, for sharing your story with us, and I can't wait to try Simply too, and I wish you the best, and for sure we will meet again, and yeah, we were talking a lot today. We have so much things in common, and
we'll definitely be in contact.
Yeah, and we could work together in the future. We have so many projects, interesting ones. So let's dream. Thank you so much, and I wish you the best. And yeah, the best for you guys. Thanks for follow us and listen our experiences and our stories, and let's learn about it. Thank you so much, Paulina.
Thank you, Nina.
Okay, bye-bye. Bye.